Brett just took off 52 minutes in 2.5 months. So it's giant. Okay.
Yeah.
And I asked you, are you okay with the PR or do you want to go for that BQ? And you said you wanted to go hard.
The motivation came in seeing immediate impact in my running, in my recovery, in my ability. Yeah, empowering is, I guess, the best word that I could use for it. So it was probably the funnest race I've ever done. And I feel like training was a huge part of that mindset.
Brett, oh my goodness, the champion of taking 50. I won't steal your thunder. I'll let you say it.
Thanks, Andrew.
Okay.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I don't have a lot other than to just, report on a successful race. And I'm still kind of riding high from the St. George Marathon. Had a great, just a really fun race. I mean, what was remarkable is not only getting the time, but a couple things that surprised me that I wasn't expecting was how much of the race I would really, really enjoy. I was expecting there to be some pain. I think you have to be pragmatic and realistic about the fact that if you're pushing yourself, you're going to have, some points where it's going to hurt. And so I knew that was coming, but it really was only the last couple miles. I thoroughly enjoyed like 24 of the 26 miles of that race, which was amazing. I mean, it literally was just, I was enjoying the scenery. I was enjoying the other runners. I didn't feel like it was, I ran it hard, obviously. But as you talked about with me, controlling my pacing early on, it was probably the funnest race I've ever done. Personally. And I feel like training was a huge part of that mindset. And then recovery has been phenomenal. I feel like usually when I run a race, particularly as hard as I can with a goal like that, but I almost am like, I don't want to run again for weeks. I just have no desire, almost just like it leaves me for a while. And recovery's been amazing. I felt ready to run. I put in, I think 25 to 30 miles last week just because I wanted to, and it wasn't, it was just easy running, but I just wanted to be out and just still felt really motivated and happy. And so that's been great too, is to not have this rebound period that I just feel like almost turns me off from running for a period. So anyway, thank you. Just it's been just amazing experience, and really excited to be a part of this group and to continue setting goals and achieving them. And it's not done.
All right. Hey, tell everybody here how much time you took off. I believe when we talked, you were at a 3:58 back in February.
3:58. I ran at Salt Lake in the spring. Called Andrew in July. Did we start working in July?
Yeah.
Anyway,
July.
I could almost see the look on your face through the phone when I told you I wanted to shave almost an hour off of my marathon by October. Anyway, so yeah,
I told you that you could do it.
Yes,
but there's like a caveat. I said you can only do it if you do what?
You talked to me about being. I had to trust you. I had to be coachable and decisive, and then you laid out some big steps as far as, I mean, the big one was nutrition and diet. That was probably the biggest shift I made. Increase in mileage, pretty steep increase, fairly quickly, but it was, the bigger thing was the change in diet.
The bigger thing, like, I want everybody else to hear that here too. You leveled up your training significantly, but if my memory is right, it was before I went to Costa Rica. We had a call and your training was going really well, but, and you were on track for a massive PR, but you were not on track necessarily for a BQ. It's like, there was another level you had to go to. And I asked you, if you wanted to risk, if you wanted to go deeper and it's going to be even harder, or are you okay with the PR or do you want to go for that BQ? And you said you wanted to go hard. And in my memory, but you clarify for us, that was the moment you had made some small dietary shifts, but that was the moment where you made a bigger dietary shift.
Yeah.
And from that point to here, how much weight did you lose? Because you weren't a fat guy. You didn't have weight to lose really, but you did.
Yeah.
How much did you lose?
Well, the total 25 pounds.
Okay.
But yeah, that was like from almost 190 down to 165. So, yeah.
Oh man. Okay, I want everybody here to hear this, because you did this awesome training, but no matter how hard you trained, let's see, you were down 25 pounds. And I always say that it's 2 seconds per mile per pound. For my book that I'm working on right now, I've had to dive deeper into the research because I got to put the citations to support this. And the answer is it's at least 1.4 seconds and upwards of 3 seconds. So I go with 2, but let's say 25 pounds, 2 seconds per mile times 26. You took off 22 minutes from your race through dietary shifts.
Yeah.
Let alone from your training. And you ran a 303. So you would have run a 325 otherwise. And not even that, because you wouldn't have recovered as well. Because you didn't just lose weight because you tell people how you lost weight, because you didn't restrict your calories. That's a horrible idea. What did you do?
Yeah. I mean, I basically went whole food, plant-based. I read the 80-10-10 book. That was highly motivating too. Was just, when I was talking to my wife about that, I felt like the combination, because I've got family that has like gluten intolerance issues, and they're always telling me, hey, you really should get off gluten. I'm like, you know what? I don't care. It wasn't ever, like even dying early was never motivation enough for me to change my diet. But as soon as I coupled the book with my running and training, the motivation came in seeing like immediate impact in my running, in my recovery, in my ability. And so, yeah, it was basically a shift of, whole food, plant-based.
Did you feel like you were deprived? Like you couldn't, do you feel like we took away things? I told you, don't eat meat, don't eat dairy, do whatever you want, but this is your decision.
Yeah, no, I didn't feel, surprisingly, I didn't feel deprived. And even things that I thought, I was like a bowl of ice cream per night guy as I wound down from my day. I thought I'd really miss that. And I didn't. I didn't feel deprived. I felt empowered really by it. It was even something that, made me feel more in control of myself, by knowing that I could control this part of my life. It was, empowering is, I guess, the best word that I could use for it. So
empowering. And I got to tell you, I came across this video on YouTube. It just like was suggested to me, and it was, I don't want to take away anything from this, but I want to like highlight what you did was really big. There was a video that was like how I took 20 minutes off of my marathon, or how I took 30 minutes off my marathon, like mind explosion. And it's this guy's story about how he improved a lot in a short period of time. And it said like, I took 20 minutes off in 6 months. Here's how I did it. And I'm like, wait a second. Brett just took off 52 minutes in 2.5 months. So it's giant. Okay. I know that you probably know that, but it's really giant. There aren't very many people who take off that much time that quickly. And it's not possible through just your training. You have to, it's both. You're not going to do it through just your diet either. You actually are going to have a huge improvement through the diet, but you did both. I'm really proud of you. You actually walked the walk, talk the talk. You said you wanted to level up big, and you did. And I'll tell you that so many people who I talk to on the phone, we have a similar conversation. They want this big thing. And I ask them, we dive deep and we find out what it is that they actually need to change in order to do it. And oftentimes it's not their running. It's, oh, this job is sucking the life out of them. What if they quit their job? Could that, but they can't, they won't do, and I don't blame them. It's fine. But you actually did the things that it took to level up in a big way. That makes you, I'm not trying, I sound like I'm like flattering you. I don't mean to flatter you, but it's just the truth is that, that's like the 1%, you know?
Well, thank you. So, I appreciate that.
I'll leave it at that. Inspiring, man. We'll talk soon. All right. Wow. All right. Sounds congratulations.
Good. Thank you so much.
50 mile next. Yes. All right. Hey, did you like that video? Great. Then you're going to love what I have in store for you here. Have you ever wanted to qualify for the Boston Marathon and maybe then go on to run the Boston Marathon? This coming Wednesday, December 7th at 4 p.m., I'm hosting a 90-minute training where I'm going to share with you the things that most runners fail to do that keeps them from getting to Boston. So click the link below, sign up, grab your spot for this fully live training. Now in this training, we're not going to talk about this tempo run and that weightlifting workout and blah, 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 these things that you've probably heard dozens of times before. We're going to dive into the 3 things that most runners never actually do, but those who actually make it to a higher level and make it to Boston, they always do it. It doesn't really matter how far away from your qualifying time you are. Brett, he took off almost an hour from his marathon time, from a 3:58 to a 3:03, and he did it in 9 weeks. It doesn't matter if you think you're too old, because most of my runners do this in their 40s, their 50s, and their 60s. It doesn't matter if you don't think you have enough time. I'm gonna share with you how you can make the most of the time that you do have and not just train more and train harder. So click the link below, sign up, grab your spot for this fully live training that we're doing December 7th on how to qualify for the Boston Marathon, even if you have injuries, even if you're over 40, even if you don't think you have time, or even if you think that you're too far away from that standard. The truth is that you can do it, and you can do it in the next 6 months. I'll prove it to you. Click the link below, and I'll see you there.